Hola, so this is college studies, right? So you're going to do chapters 1, 2, and 3, okay? And it's a lot of reading, but all of it is super, super important because it's all about time management. It's all about, let me see what the chapter 1 is. Let me see. So your chapter 1 is be a lifelong learner. Chapter 2 is about building peak habits. Chapter 3 is about expanding your emotional intelligences. And now there's like, there's love languages, right? I don't know why I'm getting to love languages because, now they sort of made that up, which is not made up, but there's different languages for everything. And so your emotional intelligence is very, very important. And your emotional intelligence doesn't necessarily go with your maturity, okay? So like, or your age, like you can be really old and not be emotionally intelligent, or you can be really young and be very mature and be very emotionally intelligent, okay? So age does not matter, right? We get to, sort of have partners that way, right? We have a lot of partners that are kind of mature. You don't realize it at the time till later. So, or you have partners that are really, really mature that taught you a lot. Everybody teaches you everything, okay? So you will be doing chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Please read them. It's a lot of reading, but you need to get it done. I'll give you what the homework is per chapter. This due date is for Wednesday, so you can work on it today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. The deadline is Thursday midnight, right? Because it closes out all on Wednesday, so chill out on that. So let's get going. So chapter 1, you're going to read that and you're going to go to page 1.6 on page 23. Let me write this down. All right, and then you're going to do, it goes 23 to 24, and it's 1.6, so make sure you get that done. This is about lifelong learning. It's very important to be a lifelong learner. It will help you forever, okay? So let's do page 40, applying the ABC method of self-management. And then we'll do page 41, and it's what kind of learner are you? It's very important for you to understand what kind of learner you are, because that way you can adjust, right? So if you're a visual learner and you learn through seeing, then you're gonna have to write things down. You're gonna have to go back and reference them. If you're an auditory, then lectures work really well. And then maybe also talking to yourself, or maybe reading it out loud, or maybe going to the lecture, that sort of helps you. Or maybe you're hands-on and you want to do hands-on. So sometimes when there's no hands-on, or writing is hands-on as well, and going through these exercises, so that can help you. And if you have, mostly everyone has combinations, like some people are visual kinesthetic, which means that visual you see, and then you sort of hands-on, like work it, right? Or you walk it or whatever. And so I don't know if that made any sense. So you have to make sure that you understand that. Let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about building peak habits. And everything in life is, success doesn't come like overnight. It's a lot of little steps and a lot of very consistent habits that you have to have in order to be successful. And through it, you learn a lot. And so that's how you start making, there are no shortcuts in life, but you start making your life easier. So if you want to lose 10 pounds, right, you need good habits. You need to be able to walk more or exercise. You need to reduce your intake of food, okay? That doesn't mean skip meals, but just reduce your food, okay? And then definitely exercise. So all those 3 things need to be habitual. They have to be consistent, and it needs to be part of your life. And that's how we create good habits. And if we don't have good habits, then it's about really eliminating them, okay? So make sure you get really, really good with that. Let me see what I want you to do here. Let's do page 68 on chapter 2. All right, and then we'll do page 69. It's planning your career. And you really need to plan stuff out, right? You can't just like sort of like go through life like I used to tell everybody. You go through life like this, right? When I was a kid, it was really stupid. I don't even know why they used to do that. But the girls among the girls, and we were stupid, we were like elementary, and they used to say, well, how many kids are you gonna have? And then, someone would say, however many God would give me. And I was really young and stuff, but I always thought that was like the stupidest thing, right? So what I tell my students that, don't go through life however many God gives me. And if you believe in that, that's okay. But it really is about planning your life, right? If you don't have any money, how are you going to be supporting other people? You need to support yourself, and you need to be independent before you can support other people. And so before you leave it up to God, right, you need to take it into your own hands if you want to be successful, or just basically support yourself. How are you going to be having children if you cannot support yourself? Okay, so that's a prime example. So something like that. So make sure that you have goals. Just like your vision board, make sure you have spiritual goals. Make sure you have, financial goals. Make sure that you have, educational goals. Make sure that you have career goals. Make sure that you have, relationship goals. There's all sorts of goals that, health goals, right? Weight goals, you can also be underweight. Weight doesn't necessarily mean that you can be overweight. There's been times that I've been a little too skinny, and it just hasn't been good. I look after this, don't look after, but I visit sometimes this elderly lady, and I've known her forever, and she's a really dear friend of mine, and she's just so skinny, so skinny, and she needs to eat more, you know what I mean? So everything is work. So even if you're underweight, it's work to gain weight. So everything is work, okay? So don't think it's just about being overweight, but it's about maintaining, and it's about having a, great lifestyle, and it's about, really incorporating everything that you wish to do, because the only limitations you have are the ones you set, and you can create your life however magnificent it is that you want. And if you don't like your life now, that's why you're changing it, and that's why you're in school, because you feel that school will give you the experience and whatever it is that you need in order to get to your next level, both economically, and in terms of, maybe position in life, and that's how you get ahead. So make sure that you create your goals, and I have a hair here, that, that you're consistent with them, and put time frames on them. How long will it take? When I was getting my master's, my son was just born, okay? And I said, by the time I finish my master's, I have to make sure that my son will be going into school. So most of my things, that wasn't my master's, I don't know what it was, but I needed to get certified, and I needed to become a teacher by the time my son was going into kindergarten, okay? And I already had a degree. It's a long story, I'll tell you guys later. But make sure that, you set time frames for yourself, because if goals don't have specific visions and if you don't have specific goals and specific time frames, then they're nothingness. They're just dreams, okay? And a goal and a time doesn't have to be set by months and years. It can be by your age, or it can be by your children when they go to school, or it can be by a season, or it can be whatever it is that you wish it to be, okay? So you can become and you can create the life that you want, all right? I'm working very hard to creating, now that I'm older and my children are all grown up and I'm almost finished with them, to create the life that I so want to live. And what does that look like? If you don't have an idea, well, how can you move forward to to really acquiring and building the life that you want? Okay, so expanding your emotional intelligence is important to understand, and that's in chapter 3. And let's go to page 76, and let's do 3.2. And then we're going to go to, there's here on page 80, and the basic hierarchy of needs, okay? You need to check these out, okay? And it's important for you to understand that, okay? The other thing is motivational strategies. There's like 1 through 10, and it starts off on page 81, and it goes all the way to 86. So make sure that you figure that out. On page 87, there's unemployment rates in medium weekly, okay? And that tells you what you get and what you don't get, whether you have like just a GED or high school diploma or some college or whatever, and it'll tell you what you make and the difference between one level to the next. That is super eye-opening. So make sure that you check that out, okay? There's skills in school, career. You know, there's a lot of money and time that you're spending on this. So make sure that you don't like mess it up and not get it done, and not take everything you can from this experience and this endeavor that you're taking, because you're paying for it, and it's expensive. It's not only expensive in money, it's expensive in time and in energy. And that's really what life is about. Anything that is worth something is going to cost you 3 things. All right? 1, 2, or 3, or all 3 of them at the same time, okay? So it's going to be time, energy, and money. If you can pay for it, that'll be easier, and you get rid of it, and that's it. The most expensive thing for you is going to be time and energy. Once your time is lost, and once you've lost that time, you can never get it back. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Okay, right now you guys are young, but later you're not going to have the luxury of time. So make sure that you fully take advantage of that, all right? So let's do self-esteem on page 102. Okay, worksheet 3.3. And then let's do learning style motivations. And then there's an assessment of personal qualities on page 105. Let's do that as well, okay? So 103, learning styles and motivation, and 105. And that concludes your homework for this week, okay? It's not a lot. It is a lot to read, but you guys can do it. It's very important. And really, this is sort of like your last reading. You know, I really have enjoyed this book. This book is amazing. I would suggest you keep it and you really look through it and really, really sort of make it your own. It's amazing skills that you can build up for life. It's not just about school, because remember, I am here to teach you about life, but it is through content that we do so. So I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will be there so we can meditate. Namaste. Love and light. Ciao.